Let's get this out of the way first. If Mikel Arteta wins the Champions League this season, then please, pretend this video never existed. In fact, go ahead and roast me in the comments. Tell me I know nothing about football. Tell me to delete my channel. I'll take it. Because if Arsenal lift that trophy, the debate is over. He's already won. But here's the reality check. Arteta's real exam paper isn't written in European glory just yet. It's written in the Premier League. That's the one Arsenal haven't touched since the days of Thierry Henry gliding past defenders like they were cones. Since Wenger's Invincibles were making the whole league look like amateurs. 2 decades of waiting, 2 decades of maybe next year. And now Arteta has built a squad that actually looks ready to do it. And that's exactly why the pressure is suffocating. If he doesn't deliver the Premier League, then what's the point of all the speeches about process? What's the point of spending Pep-level money only to play bridesmaid to City every May? Because let's be honest, finishing second isn't progress anymore. It's just Arsenal cosplaying as Liverpool during Pep's era. So yeah, Champions League? I'll shut up. Premier League? That's the standard. That's the prize Arteta needs. Otherwise, sorry, but it's failure dressed up with nice football and fancy tactics. Now let's dive into 7 major reasons why he must deliver the Premier League. The money spent. Money talks in football, and Arsenal have been screaming at the top of their lungs these last few seasons. Forget the old days of bargain hunting under Wenger, when Arsenal fans got excited about signing a teenage prospect from League 2 for $3 million. Those days are gone. Under Arteta, Arsenal have been shopping like a drunk millionaire on Amazon Prime Day. Declan Rice. Over $100 million. The kind of money you'd expect for a Ballon d'Or candidate, not a defensive midfielder who occasionally scores screamers. Kai Havertz, a guy Chelsea fans were begging someone to take off their hands, suddenly rocking up at the Emirates for nearly $65 million. Add in Jurrien Timber, Ben White at $50 million. This isn't a club pinching pennies. This is Arsenal spending like a Premier League giant. And here's the kicker. When you spend like a giant, you get judged like one, there's no sympathy anymore. You don't get credit for progress when you're throwing around Manchester City money. Second place isn't heroic, it's just embarrassing. You don't buy Ferraris just to brag about finishing behind Pep's Tesla in every race. Fans know it too. They've watched their club pour hundreds of millions into building this perfect Arteta squad. If it doesn't win the Premier League, then what was the point of it all? To finish second with style, to call it development, while Manchester City lift the trophy again. Sorry, but that doesn't cut it. Big money demands big prizes. And for Arsenal, that prize is the Premier League. Anything less, and it's failure dressed up in pretty football. The squad depth? For years, Arsenal had the perfect excuse. We don't have the depth. Every time Saka limped, every time Partey pulled a hamstring, every time an injury crisis hit, the fans sighed and accepted it. But not anymore. Arteta has built a squad that can rotate without collapsing. He's got 2 players for almost every position, starters and backups who could walk into most other Premier League lineups. That means no more excuses. You can't talk about bad luck when you've spent 3 summers carefully building a squad designed to survive the grind of a title race. And let's be honest, this isn't Liverpool in 2019, dragging James Milner to left back because they had no other choice. Arsenal's bench looks like a starting 11 on its own. If this squad can't get over the line, it won't be because of injuries or fatigue. It'll be because, plain and simple, they weren't good enough when it mattered most. Depth was the last missing piece, and now that it's there, failure can't hide behind it anymore. The process is expired. Trust the process. Those 3 words have carried Arteta since the beginning, like a slogan on a motivational poster. And to be fair, it worked for a while. Arsenal fans were patient, they bought into the vision, and they accepted the growing pains. But let's be real, how long can a process stay a process before it just becomes an excuse? Arteta isn't inheriting Emery's mess anymore. This is his team, his squad, his philosophy from top to bottom. At some point, the process has to graduate into results. And that graduation moment is the Premier League. No more talk about progress, no more applause for being competitive again. If Arsenal don't win the league soon, then the process wasn't a path to success. It was a clever way of buying time. Fans didn't endure the speeches and the buzzwords just to watch Arsenal become the Premier League's eternal bridesmaids. The process was meant to end with glory. Without a title, it ends with disappointment. Slot has done it before Arteta. Arne Slot walked into Liverpool, took over from Klopp, and already has a Premier League title under his belt before Arteta could even get his first. That alone is brutal for Arsenal fans to stomach. But here's the bigger question: will Arsenal really stand by and let Slot make it 2 in a row before Arteta wins even 1? Because if Liverpool's new man can achieve in back-to-back seasons what Arteta hasn't managed in years, the conversation around Arsenal shifts from contenders to serial underachievers. Arteta has spent years building, millions of pounds invested, speech after speech about progress. Meanwhile, Slot shows up, makes adjustments, and suddenly Liverpool are champions again and again. If Arsenal allow that to happen, then Arteta's project doesn't just look like a failure. It looks like a long, drawn-out story about how someone else kept stealing the crown while he hesitated. The emotional investment: Arsenal fans have been through football trauma. Some season ago, they spent 248 days at the top of the table, longer than any team in Premier League history, without actually winning it. That collapse wasn't just painful, it was soul-crushing. Supporters poured their hearts, their hope, and their faith into Arteta's team, only to watch it slip away when it mattered most. And yet, despite that heartbreak, the fans came back this season. They still believe, they still sing, they still dream. That's not loyalty, it's devotion. But here's the catch: devotion has limits. If Arsenal once again falls short, the fans won't just be disappointed, they'll be broken. You can only bottle the league so many times before supporters start to ask, is this just who we are now? A team built to raise hope, only to smash it into pieces at the finish line. And if that becomes the identity, then Arteta hasn't just failed to win the Premier League, he's failed the people who trusted him most. The Wenger comparisons. Every Arsenal manager since 2018 has lived in Arsene Wenger's shadow, but Arteta more than anyone. Wenger delivered dominance, invincibles, and an era where Arsenal were feared. Arteta's project has brought back the style, the control, and even the swagger, but without the silverware to back it up, it all starts to feel like a tribute act. Beautiful football means nothing if it doesn't end with a Premier League trophy, because that's the bar Wenger set. And that's the danger. If Arteta doesn't cross that line, history won't remember him as Wenger's successor. It will remember him as Wenger Light, the manager who talked about process, spent big, and played nice football, but never matched the standard his mentor set. Arsenal fans don't want nostalgia, they want new glory, and without the league, Arteta risks being remembered as the nearly man who couldn't escape Wenger's shadow. Time is running out. Football doesn't hand out patience forever. Right now, Arteta still has goodwill. He's the young, innovative manager who rebuilt Arsenal from a broken squad into genuine contenders. But that honeymoon period won't last much longer. Each season that ends without a Premier League trophy adds weight to the narrative that maybe he just can't finish the job. And once that doubt sets in, it's almost impossible to shake. Time is the most unforgiving opponent in football. Managers who once looked untouchable quickly become replaceable when the trophies don't come. Arteta doesn't have another 5 years to keep saying, trust the process. The window is open now. He has the players, the backing, and the belief. If he doesn't deliver soon, the story of Mikel Arteta at Arsenal won't be about rebuilding greatness. It'll be about wasting the perfect chance to bring it back.